junkies. Holy shit. Who that knocking at the door? Probably a couple junkies.
Welcome back to the Loyalty Bros Network. I'm your host, Silence. Today we're back, and this is week 5 of our vegetation cycle. And we're going to do an update on the plants. And I'm going to show you how tall and how wide the plants have gotten. Today, we're smoking on some of the previous grow, which is our Double Delight by In-House Genetics. And I'm going to give you a rate today as we smoke. So today's episode is all about week 5, what I plan to do with the plants going forward, knowing that we got this new Exotic Genetic grow. I'll talk to you guys a little bit about this Double Delight that I'm smoking here from In-House Genetics. So let's get into it. So In-House Genetics has a strain called Double Delight, and I think it's really good. Overall, what I would give it is around a 6.5, because it's not bad. The reason why I would give it a 6 is because of the taste. It's more of an earthly taste. It kind of smells a little bit more like a coffee, and it doesn't have a stench to it. Overall, the buds look phenomenal, to be honest. I have a little here. I like to cure my weed and these grove bags here. So let's take a look at one of the buds. You guys can see here, I did a nice trim on it, but it's a light green, a lot of orange hairs, a lot of crystals on it. Really good weed. So Double Delight, it gets a 6. It doesn't really have a gassy pull to it. It's really good, by the way, and I fucks with it. So if you guys are gonna go out there and grow anything from In-House Genetics, I would recommend the Double Delight. I'm not gonna do a review on the Honey D. That was overall my least favorite strand that I've grown from In-House Genetics. The reason why it hermied up on me, and just the smell and the taste was like, it was horrible, to be honest. So the only strand I recommend from In-House Genetics at this time is the Double Delight, which I'm smoking on right now. And this is good. You know, I roll up in raw papers and Fonto. So sometimes, you know, I get a little black ash. That's because it's Fonto. I gotta mix it. I don't roll grabber. I like to dry out my own Fonto leaf, and I crush it and I roll it in my raws, and it just hit different. You know, it hit good. This is very good. But this Double Delight, this Double Night is phenomenal. So now let's get into this Exotic Genetics grow that we have over here to my left. And as you can see from where we started, the plants were a little shorter. Now that we're in week 5, and let me just tell you guys what I did with the plants. The plants is in week 5. I topped them about 2 times. So it took a lot of time, just a little while, for it to grow back and get healthy. Because when you top them, they go into this like weak phase where they just need a clean environment. You don't want anything to mess them up, because they're like a newborn. Like, you know, they're a newborn all over again. It got like an open wound they got to heal from. So I topped these girls. Right now they're about a foot and a half, closing in on 2 feet. And right now I'm just letting them recover. And as you can see, we're going to get into it. The plants are completely green. Some plants are smaller than the others, and others are a little bit more wide, a little bit more bushier. But that's because we have a few different strands going on in there. So with this grow, it's strictly Exotic Genetics. We're growing strictly Exotic Genetics this grow. We got our B Natty, which was one of the freebies. We got our Blue Easy, and we got our Porto Leche. So I'm going to take you guys into the Porto Leche, Blue Easy, and the B Natty. I'm going to show you the traits of each of the plants show you guys how the plants look. And also, before we get into that, I want to show you guys what I feed my plants. I know I said I was going to get into that, so let me get into that real quick. Yeah, I ain't even gonna lie, this Double Delight is phenomenal. It's good. Still gotta give it a 6, but it's a good smoke. That's why I say it's phenomenal. It's good. It's not the gas, but it's super good. So I give it a 6.5. But now let's talk about the nutrients I use. I tried a lot of nutrients in the beginning with this overall grow thing, but I realized just keep it simple. You know, a lot of people use a whole lot of other 3-part nutrient systems, but I use something so simple and so basic, and it just gives me premium results, phenomenal results. So I started off using Fox Farms, liquid nutrients, the soil, the whole package, everything. It's just something natural. I know what's in it. I did the research, and then I switched over to Success Nutrients, but then I jumped back to Fox Farms because I like the overall flavors and the terps and the profiles of the cannabis when I use these in my overall grows. So let's get into the 3-part system from Fox Farms, and I'll show you what I use. So over here, we got the Big Bloom. So this is the natural overall plant food, which is really good. You can just feed your plant straight this. I feed about 4 teaspoons a gallon each grow. I mean, not each grow, each watering. Actually, every other watering. I don't feed my plants nutrients each watering. I feed it every other watering. And sometimes I let it sit depending on how green the plants get. Because the darker it gets, then I know that it's a little bit too much nutrients in it, and I don't want it to see nuke burn on the leaves. So I feed the plant every other day, but every day it's just water. Sometimes I don't feed it water. I like to dry it back, but every other day I'm feeding it newts. So I got the Big Bloom. It's natural. It's earthworm castings, bat guano, a lot of other natural stuff in here. It smells good. It's probably good for plants. I would not, drink this or anything like that, but it's definitely good. So you got the Big Bloom. We got the Grow Big. Now this is what I use for the vegetative state. We got the Tiger Bloom for the flower, but I use the Grow Big for the veg cycle. And I use about 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons every other, just like the Big Bloom. And this right here just, makes it lush, makes the plant lush. A lot of leaves, a lot of growth. It helps with the growth cycle. So those 2 I use in the veg cycle. So these are all the nutrients I'm using in the veg cycle. Those 2 I use. I use the Sweet and Dandy. This is the molasses, natural molasses. This is like the black tap molasses. Really good stuff. Smells good. Gives the plants nice flavor profiles. And I usually just use 1 tablespoon once a week of the molasses, which is really good. The Cow Mag. I use the Cow Mag probably once a week. Not too much Cow Mag. This is Cow Mag and magnesium, calcium, magnesium. That right there will have your plant spotty if you use too much of this. So be careful when you use the Cow Mags. Cow Mag, your plant needs. It's going to be denser. Just don't use too much of it. And I have 2 things that I've been using, every other week, which is the Micro Brew and the Root Drench. Does a lot of phenomenal stuff. You guys can look it up yourself what it does. But once every other week, I use that Root Drench and that Micro Brew. Really good stuff. And the last thing I use on the list is from Success Nutrients, and it is their silica. So this stuff right here is just great. You know, I only like the silica from Success Nutrients, and that's what I use. You know, it's pretty simple. You can get the Dirty Dozen package from Fox Farms. Kind of has like a sample, 1 quart samples of like, you know, everything in the product category. And I suggest you guys try it out. They're not paying me. I'm just giving you guys free game. It's really good stuff. And the last thing I use, which I'm going to show you guys when it's time to water these plants, I use my Vivosun. I got to pick this thing up. My Vivosun compression sprayer. So this is great. So I'm not down on the floor, pause, feeding the plants by hand. I just basically fill it up. I have about 2 gallons in here. This is a what? A 7 liter sprayer. So that holds about 2 gallons. You pump it up, it takes a compression, you push the nozzle, you feed the plants, easy. So I would invest in that pump sprayer. Pump sprayer is overall good to have, and I'm glad I brought that one. So now that we did that, we're going to get into these plants, review these plants. Also, if you guys haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel. I ask right now you guys to like and subscribe to this channel. If you want to see more content, want to see me grow more weed, definitely right now like and subscribe to the channel. Also leave a comment. Shout out to everybody in the comments. I see you, I read everything, and I appreciate the support. Facts. So just stay tuned. If you guys have any suggestions or any strains, any breeders that got some phenomenal cannabis strains, write it in the comments so I can go. I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna cop the seeds, I'm gonna grow it, I'm gonna do a review on it. So let me know what you guys is growing out there and what's fire. Don't tell me nothing that's bullshit, because I'm only looking for the fire, to be honest. So now let's get into these plants. Yeah. Now let's take a look at the plants in week 5 of the vegetation cycle. These plants have been vegging for about 5 weeks, and I topped them 2 times in this vegetation cycle. I've started off with a light feed, just Fox Farm nutrients and water, but now I'm going to do a heavy feed because I need these plants to get a little bit stronger before I switch them over to flower. So for this week, up until next week or 2 weeks, depending on the height of these girls and how bushy they are, I'm going to throw them underneath the trellis, and I'm going to do a light defoliation as I switch them over, actually flip them over to flower. But as you can see, the plants have recovered nicely. It's a sea of green, multiple tops. The plants on the right are a little bit more bushier than the plants on the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift things around so each of them can be at a similar height and a similar amount of bushiness. So let me take you into one of my favorites of this growth so far. One of my favorites, which is the Blue Easy. And this is from the Blueberry Bang Bang lineup from Exotic Genetixs. And it's just one of my favorites right now. The traits that I'm seeing is a nice bushy plant, a little shorter, not that tall, but it's nice and bushy. I love the way this plant is vegging right now. It's perfectly healthy. Nice, deep, rich colors on the leaves. I haven't overfed it, so no nuke burn as of yet. But the Blue Easy is one of my favorites. Actually, no. This right here is the Porto Leche. Has a little bit different traits. A little darker than the Blue Easy. But I kind of like the Porto Leche. Like the way the leaves look. I overwatered it in the beginning, but I'm just letting the plant heal up, and fight back from the recent overwatering. But it's recovering really well. The Puerto Leche is one of my, and I'm just loving this B Natty. It's one of my favorites because it's one of the tallest growing strains. It stretches a lot, so I gotta really research the two strains that created this. But I'm really loving the B Natty by Exotic Genetixs. I'm loving the traits I'm seeing. And let me show you guys how I water my plants. So right now, as I said in the beginning, I'm using the Vivosun high compression sprayer. This is the 7-liter, which is a nice size. So I would say this is about 2 gallons of water. And I'm just going to give the plants a little bit of water right now and newts just for the night. 2 gallons only right now. I'm going to spray them. They look a little dry, a little thirsty. So I'm just going to feed them. The pump spray is pretty simple. It's not much work. So you can just remove the handle with the nozzle. And I have it pumped up already. But what you really want to do is you want to unlock it and you want to pump it up. So when you get that pressure back, that's when you know it's at the maximum. As you can see, it's a little resistance. So this is fully pumped up. Just make sure. Yep. This is fully pumped up. Now I'm going to start the spray. And let me show you guys how this works. So the nozzle, you can adjust, the spray pressure. So I don't really do a hard spray, kind of do like a light mist. And I just like to saturate the soil. And I just want to see it penetrate and I move on. So I don't want to deeply soak the soil. I just want to lightly saturate it, let the plants drink up most of the water and the nutrients. So I don't want to overwater the plants right now that I'm going to switch everything to flower in a week or two. So I just want to make sure the plants are nice, healthy, and strong before I flip everything into flower. So we're going to start back here next to the B Natty. As you can see, let's get a close up. And you hear that? It's like somebody turned the hose on outside. And basically I'm just going to saturate everything. And I'm going to give this plant some love. And usually it's just a fill. I know how much water is going in. And I just know my plants because I water them every day. It's not a system that's set up. So once I know it's had enough, I basically turn it off and move on to the next one. And this feed right here, it's going to be a pretty potent feed packed with newts. I put a little bit of everything into it. So these plants are going to soak this up for the next day or two.